In this video, I will be breaking down the 14 pieces of legislation being voted on this week in the House of Representatives, including a bill that plans to stop fentanyl from entering the United States. Schools Not Shelters Act aims to prohibit the use of the facilities of a public elementary school, a public secondary school, or an institution of higher education to provide shelter for aliens who have not been admitted into the United States and for other purposes. The bill does not allow for short-term emergency housing for aliens who have not been admitted into the United States in the event of a specified disaster such as a flood, tornado, or hurricane. The Project Precursor Act aims to disrupt the international fentanyl supply chain and for other purposes. The bill plans to disrupt the international fentanyl supply chain by allowing the U.S. government to work with the Mexican government. The act will authorize $64 million to carry out various programs to help stop the flow of fentanyl into the United States. The Secretary of State, acting through the Assistant Secretary of the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs, is authorized to carry out a program to build the capacity of Mexican law enforcement agencies to prevent the transit, trafficking, and distribution of fentanyl and its precursor chemicals and analogs into the United States from Mexico. Elements of this program include K-9 unit support for drug detection, disrupting fentanyl trafficking and express consignment, as well as in postal, shipping, and transportation operations conducted by the government and private business sectors, addressing efforts meant to increase Mexican federal and state laboratory forensic accreditation to identify fentanyl and other drugs, cargo container control and inspection, and much more. The bill also requires the Assistant Secretary of the Bureau of Intelligence and Research to submit to the relevant congressional committees a classified report describing the operations and geographic footprint of all Chinese state and non-state actors inside Mexico that are involved in the illegal importation, production, transport, or trafficking of fentanyl or its precursor chemicals in or through Mexico. The Animal Drug and Animal Generic Drug User Fee Amendments of 2023 aims to amend the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act to reauthorize user fee programs relating to new animal drugs and generic new animal drugs. According to the Congressional Research Services, this bill reauthorizes the Food and Drug Administration to collect fees for brand name and generic animal drug applications through fiscal year 2028. It also makes related updates to fee calculations and FDA reporting requirements. The Global Investment and American Jobs Act of 2023 aims to direct the Secretary of Commerce in coordination with heads of other relevant federal departments and agencies to conduct an intricacy review and report to Congress on ways to increase the global competitiveness of the United States in attracting foreign direct investment. The report must include 16 different studies, including 1. The economic impact of foreign direct investment in the United States, with particular focus on manufacturing, services, trade, and United States jobs. 2. Trends in global cross-border investment and data flows and the underlying factors for such trends. 3. Federal government policies that facilitate foreign direct investment, attraction, and retention from responsible private sector entities based in trusted countries. 4. Innovative and noteworthy initiatives by state and local government to attract foreign investment from responsible private sector entities based in trusted countries. And 5. Efforts by the Chinese Communist Party to circumvent existing laws to gain access to the United States markets, foreign direct investment, responsible private sector entities based in trusted countries, or intellectual property. If you want to read more about this report, you can read the bill linked in the description below. The Taiwan International Solidarity Act aims to amend the Taiwan Allies International Protection and Enhancement Initiative Act of 2019 to provide the United States as a member of any international organizations should oppose any attempts by the People's Republic of China to resolve Taiwan's status by distorting the decisions, language, policies, or procedures of the organization and for other purposes. The bill states the federal government should encourage U.S. allies to oppose China's attempts to undermine Taiwan's diplomatic relations and partnerships with other countries. Finally, the bill would broaden an existing reporting requirement for the Department of State to include information about how China has been hindering Taiwan's diplomatic relations. The Securing Semiconductor Supply Chains Act of 2023 aims to require Select USA to coordinate with state-level economic development organizations to increase foreign direct investment in semiconductor-related manufacturing and production. The Executive Director of Select USA shall solicit comments from state-level economic development organizations to review what efforts the federal government can take to support increased foreign direct investment in any segment of semiconductor-related production. They must also solicit comments on what barriers to such investment may exist and how to amplify state efforts to attract such investment, and resource gaps or other challenges that prevent those organizations from increasing such investment, and also develop recommendations for how Select USA can increase such investment independently or through partnership with those organizations, and working with countries that are allies or partners of the United States to secure that foreign adversaries of the Secure and Trusted Communication Networks Act of 2019 do not benefit from the United States' efforts to increase such investment. The Securing Growth and Robust Leadership in American Aviation Act aims to amend Title 49 United States Code to reauthorize and improve the Federal Aviation Administration and other civil aviation programs and for other purposes. This bill authorizes the FAA through fiscal year 2028, including activities and programs related to airport planning and development, facilities and equipment and operations. The National Transportation Safety Board is also reauthorized through fiscal year 2028. The bill also addresses a wide range of issues within the aviation industry, including directing the FAA to increase air traffic controller hiring targets, extending the authorizations for aviation workforce development programs for pilots and mechanics, prohibiting aircraft dispatchers from working remotely with limited exceptions for emergencies, and requires the FAA to issue rules to update the requirements for testing and operating unmanned aircraft, for example drones, including for drones operating beyond the visual sight of line. Senate bill providing accountability through Transparency Act aims to require each agency in providing notice of a rulemaking to include a link to a 100-word plain language summary of the proposed rule. This bill requires the notice of a proposed rule by a federal agency to include the internet address of a summary of the rule. The summary must be 100 words or fewer, written in plain language and posted on regulations.gov. There are also 5 House resolutions to end various national emergencies declared by the President over the last 20 years, including national emergencies declared on October 27, 2006, February 16, 2012, May 22, 2003, and May 11, 2004. A House concurrent resolution being voted on expresses the sense of Congress supporting the State of Israel. The House of Representatives is planning on being in session next week, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any exciting or dumb bills. As always, thank you for being better informed about your government. There are also